Toastmates. I'm glad to be here. In some of my previous speeches, I've talked about how I like to be active, like to run. But this past weekend took it to a whole new extreme. My parents celebrated their 40th wedding anniversary this past weekend. To help them celebrate, we took them over to Zender's in Frankenmuth, to Splash Village. If you've ever been there, it's a very felicitous type of place to celebrate. Because my parents' goal was to have a place for the grandkids to have fun. They didn't want a party, they didn't want a big event, they just wanted a spot for their 5 grandkids to have fun. And what better place in the winter than indoor water park? 80, 82 degrees inside. To the point if you don't get in the water, you're gonna be really sweaty. So we took them over there. Little did I realize, and keep in mind my wife is 8 months pregnant, so I was a one-man crew in the water with my little guy Blake. 3.5 years old, going on 14, full of ideas, full of energy, more energy than I have. But little did I know that in that 24 hours or 36 hours that we were at this hotel and water park, that I'd become this yoga instructor. Now keep in mind, there's probably 15 or 20 lifeguards, and all of them have these nice little whistles around their neck. And I think it's part of their job description to blow that thing at least 25 times an hour, at least. So you're hearing whistles, you're hearing kids screaming, having a good time. You're hearing a warning alarm when all this big bucket's about ready to dump 20,000 gallons of water out onto the floor. It's a great place for kids to go and have a good time. Across the walls, there's little signs that say, warning, slippery surfaces, do not run. Well, they might as well put this blank sheet of paper up there and it had the same impact. You have little kids, they want to get from point A to point B, and they want to have fun, so they're running, and Blake was one of them. So what I quickly found myself doing was, keep in mind, very loud atmosphere. I'm like, Blake, slow down. Blake, wait your turn. Like you could hear me anyway. But I was still doing it, so I was doing this. Pretty soon I felt like my hand was tattooed to my chin. To switch it up, I'd go the other side. Very loud, trying to keep him under control. He'd go running. Of course, what would I do? I'd try to, of course, I could walk a little faster than he could run, so I could keep up with him. But it was a lot of times I'd see this, boom, back of his head, trying to keep up. Sometimes I'd see him walking this way, and I'd be standing right here, and he'd be running. He'd be looking at me, running. Blake, slow down. So I'm going from this to this. Now keep in mind too, Blake's 3.5, going on 14, and he'd go up these steps on his own. And there's some slides where you couldn't go with your child. They had to go by themselves. And he had a life jacket on, but I'm still a nervous parent. And I think maybe that never goes away. Rich, maybe? No, okay. So you'd get up there and I'd be waiting at the bottom of the slide and he'd be up there and I could see him take off, but that slide would go down and go away from me. So for 15 to 25 seconds, I had no idea where he was. He was in the water, going down the slide. So immediately I went from this to slow down to bite my fingernails like a madman. And it was chewing and chewing and chewing, nervous. And I get down to the bottom and I thought, oh, that hand's done. Go to the next hand. And I'd be like a typewriter, losing fingernails left and right. He'd get down to the bottom. I'd pick him up, say, Blake, what would you like to do? Like, go again. Okay, so there he goes. I look at my fingernails. I have nothing left. So I'm chewing my fingers. Not good. The other thing great about this type of place, great or not great, you're getting this out a lot. Now, keep in mind, they offer great conveniences. You could go down in your swim trunks, go in the pool, they have towels waiting for you when you're done, go back up to your room, change your clothes, lay down. It's great. But you're gonna get this out. And thanks to Rich, you keep in mind all those financial secrets to do those type of things. So you could go enjoy things. The other thing you do when you're in Frankenmuth or these type of places is you eat a lot. Now you're running a lot of energy off, trying to keep up with Blake, but you're eating a lot. So you go to Zender's, you go to dinner, and for those of you that maybe been there, chicken dinners. And as much as you could eat, they're gonna pile in front of you. and they just keep piling and piling it on. Of course, what do? We just keep eating and eating and eating some more. I think they lost money on myself and my two brothers and dad for the amount of food that we ate compared to what they charged, but that's here and over there. We get back to the restaurant, or back to the hotel, and go to, it's time for bed, and the next morning we get up, and sure enough, there's a breakfast buffet waiting for us. Well, even better, because we've ran a lot of energy off from the time we last ate, not really. And there again, as much as you can eat, they're gonna pile in front of you. So what do they, I end up walking out, and I wasn't sure if I was pregnant or Cindy. I'm just rubbing my belly. Why did I do that? Hey, you only live once, right? So we had a great, great time. My parents thoroughly enjoyed it. I'd encourage any of you, if you have a celebration, they're going to really cater to you. Keep in mind, you're going to probably get that wallet out, but they're only married 40 years one time. Great atmosphere, great fun for the kids. The only other thing I noticed when we were heading home, we get in the car, hour and a half drive, well, it's probably 10 minutes, and my passengers are asleep on me. So I'm doing one of these, trying to stay awake the whole time. I want to chew my fingernails, I can't do that to try to stay awake. Here and over there. It was a great trip. I'd encourage any of you to do it, and it's a great place for families to have a great time. Thank you.